Electrocast.
On. And welcome to the Money Round. I am the Money Coach, and we're brought to you by Extreme Training, where the elite come and train with the elite. All right, today we have one of America's finest and one of the best coaches in the game, best wrestlers in the game, best mentors in the game, Coach Kenny Monday, Morgan State University. What's going on, Coach?
Oh man, it's all good. It's all good. Welcome. Thank you for having me on tonight. How you
Yeah,
doing? I'm
good,
good.
good, good. Just glad you can make it and
Yeah.
just seeing what's going on. So what's going on? What's new with Morgan State now?
Well, it's going into our fourth season,
Four
and
four years. Nice.
recruiting season is over. Just signed my last kid the other day, so got a little time to kind of chill and regroup before we hit that grind again. Kids are back August 26th, I think, when classes start, and so kids are kind of gearing up to come back to school and get this thing started. So yeah, so we got a little time off. We got coaches convention this weekend in Baltimore. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And it's only 20 minutes downtown's only 20 minutes from my house, so it's an easy commute.
So what's the best part about the coaches convention?
I think anytime you get wrestlers together, it's kind of like it's like a reunion, kind of so to speak. It's wrestling's a small community, but I think the best thing for me, I think, is just kind of seeing the state of the union, so to speak. So it's kind of the state of wrestling, because it's a rules committee is there, and they're introducing new rules or going over old rules, existing rules. New legislations, that kind of thing, and so that's kind of the good part of it, because you kind of get up to speed on what the officials are looking for, what NCAA is looking for. Of course, it's a fast moving landscape now with the NCAA and NILs and the portal. So it's moving really fast, and we're just trying to keep up, man. Just try to keep our head above water, right?
Right. Is there
And
any new rules for this year coming up?
no, no, other than the 5 for 5. The 5 for 5 is kind of the latest thing. That's passed legislation, and so that's kind of what we're looking at. And there's no more red shirts, no more medical red shirts. There's no more Olympic red shirts. All that's in the past.
I know they
All
took
that's
out
in
the
the
Olympic
past.
red shirt. Man, how you feel about that? How you feel about that altogether?
I think at this juncture, I think it's good, just because of the landscape of college wrestling now.
Right.
And I think, COVID hit, and that kind of added some years on to
Yeah.
guys' years, and guys were competing for 7 and 8 years. And so that was kind of a different thing. And I think 5 years, is long enough for a college athlete. 5 years for, time you're 19, 5 years, you're 24. I think you should, if you still want to wrestle after that, then you should go wrestle with the men, go wrestle in the open.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a problem with it. I think the only thing, of course, the Olympic red shirt, that's one thing. I don't have a problem with that. I think the medical situations is kind of a tough deal, because if a kid get hurt,
You can get hurt 2 years in a row.
exactly, you just lose that year, right? Or 3 years in a row, right?
Right.
Kids get hurt. It's a tough game. So that's only, that's kind of a bad aspect of it. But still, it's 5. You get 5 years, and I think that's, for me. I don't have a big problem with that. So I don't have a problem with that part of it.
What do you feel
Uh,
about, I'm more with I'm more with like the grassroots of it with high school kids and eighth graders and seventh graders and these kids who like double hold back and they become
right,
19. Do you think
right.
that's good that they start at that age
Yeah,
now,
I do.
19 before September 1st?
Yep, yep. I don't have a problem with that. I think what you'll see, though, what because people are smart. These families are smart, and they're trying to get the most out of their kids and the best opportunities for them. So what you may see is kids giving up their senior year
Yep.
and going to the schools, and especially with NILs now. I mean, going there and training in the RTC.
Yep.
and kind of gray shield for a year, and then start up after that. And so
Yeah. That's what I was telling somebody. I'm
that'll hurt.
like,
That'll hurt high school wrestling. That
yeah.
doesn't need to happen.
And that's what I think. When I was at Wyoming Seminary, I tried to tell them that our game plan is to try to keep kids for their senior year, not
Right,
keep them to where we make them stay, but try to give them so much opportunity to train with RTCs and do so much freestyle and be around so many good coaches and good partners that they feel they didn't have to go nowhere.
right,
But you got to really provide a lot of stuff. And I think you'll see now, like if I'm a kid now, I might leave my junior year.
right,
Now,
right.
like, especially if
Exactly.
the school is not providing that.
Right. They're not getting it, and kids these days, and again, it's changing. Of course, when back in the day when we were coming up, man, I wanted to play, some different sports. I wanted to play
Right.
football. I wanted to, these kids are just straight single sport focus, and they're not doing the other sports. They're wrestling year round. It's really the game is really evolving. Where the tough kids are, because now, of course, you got opportunities to wrestle and overseas and make university team. U17, they're wrestling right now.
Right.
And so when do you get a break? Because you got to train.
Yeah.
You got to train all the way through August. So when they come back, you get what, a couple of weeks, and you're back in school and you're back wrestling again. So it's a tough grind. It's a tough grind.
It is. And then, you add the college game to it, which is another grind. And
Right.
now I feel like colleges now, because of the kids wrestle so much as high school kids and little kids, I feel like the college schedules are coming down. Like the match numbers are coming down
Yeah.
because of they're adjusting
Right.
to what kids do
Right.
as a high school kid.
That's right. Well, you look at Penn State. I mean, these kids, they're not wrestling 30 matches, 35, 40 matches. They're not. And so, and they are the model. Yeah, they're the model. They're the people that everyone's chasing. And so they, of course, they got, 3, 4 kids in the weight class that can wrestle, can start.
Yeah.
We're in the country. And so, so it's changing. And I just think that I can't imagine. No, I can't imagine, because when I was done with junior nationals, I was done. I didn't want
Right.
to.
They're gonna play
I
some
didn't want to.
football.
Yeah, I wanted to I wanted to take some time off. Hang out, relax, recoup, go, see my girlfriend, hang out. Just recoup, man. I would, I didn't want to see another mat for a while. I didn't want to see another mat until November, to be honest with
Right.
you. Because I played ball. I'll play ball until my senior year. I didn't play my senior year, but I love the game. I love playing, and I love watching and just hanging out. So but that gave me, I think it gave me longevity in my career. Right? Of course, I made 3 Olympic teams, and I would never say I can say this. I never burnt out. I never felt like, man, I'm tired, or dreaded practice, or dreaded competition. When I was done, I knew I was done. After 96, I was done. I was done training, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good, right? I don't need to go to another tournament. I won all my tournaments. I won every tournament there was there to win. So I felt like there was nothing else left for me to really go after like that. And so I was done, right? I knew I was done. So, but I never burnt out. I never felt like that. I wasn't ready to go train until I was done.
What do you think about, like, I don't know if you saw what they said, like Jesse Mendez and kids like that, and Levi Haynes might get an extra year now.
Who knows, man? Yeah. I mean, I don't know why those guys would even want to come back and wrestle. To me, it's like, dude, I'm going to wrestle. I want to go win a world title, go win an Olympic title. That's what I'm chasing, right? Those guys have already been NCAA champions. Why go chase another one, right? All you need is one.
The money might bring them back. The money, the NIL money.
Yeah, that's true. That changed. Yeah, that's right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, yeah. And that's probably, what the carrot is. Just that money. It ain't like chasing another NCAA title. Because you can get paid more than you would. Because it's harder. It would be harder for them to go win a world title. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, that's that caveat. I didn't really put that into the mix, but yeah, you're right. That's more.
But you say it's weird though. Like wrestling for money and wrestling because you want to win is two different things, right?
What's that?
Say wrestling for money and wrestling because you want to win and that's what you do. It's kind of two different things.
Well, I think they go hand in hand.
Okay.
I think they go hand in hand, right? Because you're not those guys are competitors. They want to win,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
They want to win, right? It's just so happened that you can get paid while you winning, right?
Right.
Nothing changes in a competitor's mind and the competitor's heart. Those guys still when they go to practice, they thinking about winning. They ain't thinking about money. They think
Right.
about
Right.
winning, right? And so that doesn't change when it comes to that. I don't think.
Yeah. I
And if
just
it
don't.
does, if it does, and I don't think you see this. I don't think you'll see the same competitor.
Right. Right. I
You know?
mean, I know, like, I just even like when you get to sports, higher you go, like football, the money comes in pretty quick. I just
Right.
remember just playing for arena football and playing for it just made it. I don't know. It just felt real different
Yeah.
than playing for like college and everything. It just
Right.
felt different.
Right. And you see it. I mean, I think you see it. I mean, and sometimes even in the pro game, they're just not as hungry. Right.
And
Sometimes those good guys get paid, man, and they don't have that same hunger, to go chase greatness.
and
Right. Because then
especially
now it's
like,
like I've made it. I'm not hungry. I don't. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They just, and I think you see it in a couple of examples in wrestling. Not to say any names, but you see some of these guys that are getting paid, they're not
oh
competing.
yeah, transport,
They're not
yeah,
they're not that same they're not that same dog that they were when they were hungry chasing that meat.
yeah.
Now they feel like they full, belly full. They ain't gotta get up in the morning and go train, right?
Oh,
So you see it. I think
it's
you
a
see some of that too.
interesting game. So how's the transfer portal been treating Morgan State? It's been good, been rough,
It's I
good
think
some.
both sides of it, right?
Yeah.
I lost my best kid from last year. Harney got in the portal, went to Pittsburgh, and he had 30 wins last year.
Wow.
He's EIWA champ, first EIWA
Oh
champion.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep, and qualified, won a match at the NCAA's, and like I said, had more wins than anyone in the weight class. Went in 18th seed, and came back and said, "Coach, I want to see what I'm worth, right?" And so he wants to test the market. And so that's the game we're playing, of course. But I got him out of the portal. He was at Campbell and was in the portal when I got him. And so,
Gotcha.
yeah, so it's been good and bad. It's been good. That's really the first kid, actually, second kid we lost in the portal. And so it's just the game we're playing, man. You got to just reload and, you know,
Hey, that's what that 5 years coming to play. Like, hey, just is everybody might get to wrestle, so you better be ready.
right. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. Be ready to train and and be ready to wrestle because you never know, right? Uh, and it's tough because you're recruiting your kids that you're trying to bring to your program, but then you also got to re-recruit the guys you already have, right? And so it's like you're recruiting, and that never stops. I mean, because once you get a kid, the loyalty. You have some kids that are loyal. It depends on the program, right? But again, you're recruiting those kids, and then if they have a great season, then you got to re-recruit them to keep them.
Right.
So that's a tough game for old heads like me. It's not it's not easy on us, right? It's
Uh,
not easy, but
always recruiting them, and
I think
then
you adapt and you accept it and you just keep it moving. I got somebody already to replace him, and which I think he's if not better, he's just as good, and we're gonna keep it moving.
all right. So how have you liked the transition to Morgan State so far? Like, been all that you thought of? A little bit more struggle? Like, what the,
Cornell, man, I've never had to really start a program. I never had to start a program from scratch, other than like a little club team we started in
right?
Texas. We started that from scratch, kind of.
Like
Well,
the
that
Bishop
really wasn't from
Lynch?
scratch because I already had kids in the program. I just took it over and then added on to it.
Right.
But yeah, it's harder than I anticipated. I knew it'd be tough, but what I didn't anticipate is the challenge at the HBCU level, right? Me coming from Oklahoma State, where you got wrestling fans,
Yeah.
that's already there, already established.
Yeah.
Everyone's a wrestling fan, right?
Right.
Pretty much. Alumni are strong. The administration, wrestling fans, they know what it is. They're behind you 100%. You go at Morgan State, of course, the program dropped in 1996, so no one, maybe one or two people that
In this
was even
decade,
there,
don't even know.
are still there, right?
Right.
We got one guy that was a wrestler. Name is Logan, man, and he wrestled at Morgan State, and so he's still there coaching. I mean, he still works for Morgan State and works in facilities, and he's a wrestling fan, right? So he comes in and checks out. He was really a big help when I got there, and so just trying to get the administration up to speed on what wrestling looks like, what it needs, how we operate, how we social media game now, changes, and so just trying to get everyone up to speed and get them to buy into what we're doing, right? So the athletic director that brought the program back, he's gone. I mean, he went to Memphis. He took a job at Memphis University, so he's not even there anymore. So got a new athletic director. She came in when I came in. The year I came in, Patton Freeman, and she's really good. She's really working well with me, and the president is supportive, and so people started to kind of understand what we need, and they're supportive. They see the progress we're making. They see we got some good kids that are doing really well and academics, and so it's getting better. It's getting better, right? And so we just got to keep building the fan base and keep building the support that's outside of the university, like just donors and businesses that are being a part of our growth and helping us in our growth, and so that's been really growing, and just me getting out in the community and really working to get people excited about Morgan State wrestling.
Nice. I coached college football at HBCU for a while.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
where?
Cheney University in Philly.
Okay.
So yeah, when I was youngster then too,
Right,
fresh out coaching.
right.
So
You know what it is. I mean,
yeah,
it's not easy, especially and the thing too. That first year we wasn't in the conference, right? Since we're the only HBCU that has a wrestling program. The MEAC is where Morgan State, all the other sports are in the MEAC,
yeah.
right? And then so there's no conference for the being. So the first year we wasn't in the conference. So I fought my butt off to get us in the conference, and so we landed in the IWA. Probably thanks to the Ivy Leagues pulling out, and that kind of opened the door for us. But I kind of had good relationships with a lot of those guys that were in the conference just from Quincy Wrestling at Princeton, so I kind of knew those guys and knew the coaches that were in the conference. So I just kind of lobbied and got those guys' support, and then that's where we landed. And so I'm excited about that. Now that changes the game, and so now that first year we were in the conference, we were 11th. It's 12 teams. The first year we were 11th. This last year we were 8th, and starting from the bottom, man. So now we're moving up.
Is Lehigh in that conference too?
Yeah, Lehigh's in the
conference. Yeah, no, that's a legit one.
Army, Navy, Sacred Heart. Who else is in there? F&M, LIU, and it's 12 teams.
12 teams. So, all right, Coach. I know we lost Coach Bobby Douglas this year. Like, I just want to tell you, talk about like how I know at one point in time, Coach Bobby Douglas was maybe going to be the first Black Olympic champ, and did he help instill that in you? Or any lessons learned from him with all that?
Yeah. I mean, Bobby Douglas, man, is a true legend, true hero in the sport of wrestling. I think he's one of the first wrestlers that I kind of put my eyes on because he wrestled at Oklahoma State. Me being from Tulsa, I was kind of paying attention to those guys. I was young kids just starting to wrestle, but I think he wrestled there in like late '60s, and I think he went to the Olympic Games in '68, I believe. Yeah, I think
he left his small school, right, and just caught the bus and went to Oklahoma State.
yeah. It was at in Ohio. Yeah, Western University of Ohio. So yeah, so I've had my eyes on him. When he was in the Olympic Games and the whole thing, and then he recruited when he got the job at Arizona State. He recruited my older brother, Michael Money, which Michael and Jim that wrestled, at Arizona State. And so, of course, when I first started wrestling, I'm following my brothers. And so, when Mike was a state champ at Oklahoma, and was actually looking at an HBCU, and then Bobby called, and then he went to Arizona State. So that was my first real introduction to Bobby. 1974, and he took over at Arizona State. And then when my brother came home from Christmas, he was a different cat, man. He's a different dude. I mean, the technique that he came back with from working with Bobby was just like, I had never seen it. I never seen it, right? And I say I should never seen it. Watching Oklahoma State wrestle, of course, we would go down and watch Oklahoma State wrestle and watching Myron and Roderick, and which was Bobby's coach, watching his teams wrestle was an education, of course. But then when Bobby, Bobby came out with the making of a champion, and so the way he broke down, technique, and the way he broke down your level changing and your footwork and those things was just like something I'd never seen before like that, right? How he broke it down. Mm-hmm. So when Mike came back, Mike was a different cat, man, and he was like could take anybody down in the country. He could take anybody down, man. He was so good on his feet. And so I really picked that up, and they got a chance to go out to Bobby's camp that Bobby had one of the summers, and I got to spend some time with Bobby. Stayed at his house. I think I was probably in the 6th, 7th grade.
Wow.
And yeah. So I got to spend some time with Bobby, and the way he taught was this like he would make you think about just the origin of wrestling, and just where wrestling came from. And tribes that he had a book. He had a book in his house that talked about some of the tribes that wrestle in Africa, and just some of the Greek wrestling. So it was really cool to kind of be around him and get in his head and what he thought about wrestling. He was such a historical guy as far as where wrestling originated from, right? So he really make you feel about. Which it kind of blew my mind because I'm thinking.
Coach, you gotta go back for a second. So I know this because I've been around Bobby. Yeah. But what you're saying is Bobby showed you how wrestling originated in Africa.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Right. And of course he had books and had pictures and stuff, and I had never seen it. Right. I had never seen it because growing up in Oklahoma, it was a hotbed of wrestling, but I'd never seen those pictures and those images of wrestlers. And so that just it opened my mind to what I could be in a sport of wrestling, and so really I was kind of a different cat from that point on, and it really just took me to another level.
Wow.
And then go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
No, I'm just saying, and then full circle comes back around. Of course, I'm all about Bob Douglas and Arizona State when my brothers were there, but then. Couple years they left Arizona State, and so they kind of fell out with Bobby, and didn't something happened they didn't like it. So Bobby was really hard on him. He was really tough. Of course, being Oklahoma kids, been in Arizona, it didn't kind of work out, and then so they came back and went to OU, and that's where they finished at OU.
Okay.
And so that kind of messed that whole journey up going to Arizona State. So and then so when it came time for me to go to school. Bobby called. I was like, Bobby, I'm not going to Arizona State. my brother was still there, then maybe, but I'm not coming to Arizona State. Where you going? I'm going to Oklahoma State. And he's, I'm like, well, Bobby, that's where you went, right? And so, so I went to Oklahoma State, and that's kind of how we ended up.
So, was Bobby coaching the USA team when you made it? A couple of those years you made it, or was he?
Yeah. Bobby, Bobby was, and we came full circle. We just came full circle. Of course, Bobby, when I was at Oklahoma State, one of the best guys that Bobby had was Eddie Urbano. And so Eddie Urbano, I wrestled Eddie Urbano a couple of times. Wrestled him in the semifinals my senior year. I wrestled him in the semifinals, and Eddie was tough. And then after I won a national title that next year. Chesbro, my coach, got fired, and we won. We got second 2 years in a row behind Iowa, and I guess that wasn't good enough. And so Myron was the athletic director, fired Chesbro, brought in Joe Say.
Oh yeah, Joe Say.
So Joe was coming in after my senior year. He was coming to coach Oklahoma State. I was working at the Hall of Fame that was in Stillwater at the time. Or Hall of Fame and USA Wrestling was housed in the Hall of Fame. So I was working there for the summer after my senior year, and Bobby, I get a call from Bobby. And actually, he was calling someone else, and I just picked up the phone, right, answering the phone at the Hall of Fame. Bobby said, "Kenny, what are you doing? What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just working, just waiting for Joe to come in, and I'm going to continue to train and try to make the '88 Olympic team. So I'm going to keep training and finish school." And then so Bobby said, "Well, I got to, what do you think about coming to Arizona State? And I got a job out here for you. You come out here and train here and help coach my team, and then we can get on that track." And so I talked to my family and talked to my brothers about it, and so I made a decision and went to Arizona State, and that was in 1985. So I was Arizona State 85 and 86, and then I actually came back to Stillwater in 87. But that 85 year, Eddie Urbano won a national title, and so that was Bobby's first national champion at Arizona State. And so, of course, when I went to Arizona State, I'm working with Eddie every day. So we were like banging heads every day.
And they won it as a team in '88?
One of the team was 88. And so I was there, 85. Eddie Urbano won a national title. I was working with the team every day, 86, working with the team every day. And then 87 kind of came around, and I just wasn't getting over that hump, right? I wouldn't get over the hump. Because like after the season, the guys would kind of disappear, right? At Arizona State. No one was really around. So it was kind of hard for me to get workouts. So I was kind of getting there, but I wasn't getting. I had to be Schultz, and so Schultz was still the guy. And but I was working with Sunkist. I was on Sunkist Kids team, and so Schultz was the guy in the weight class. It was me, him, and Carr, and I just wasn't getting it. 86, I lost to Dave in 86, lost him in 87. So I came back to Stillwater in 87, and then Bobby won a national title in 88, right, as a team. And so that team was a lot of the guys that I spent time with. Man, I worked with those guys and spent time with, and running practices for them sometimes, and so I felt like I was a big part of that '88 team for sure. As a matter of fact, I recruited Zeke Jones. I was there when Zeke came in on a recruiting trip, and so I had made a decision to go back to Stillwater at that point. And so I'm talking to Zeke about coming to Arizona State, and we're going to train, we'll get you right, da-da-da. And then that next 2 months after I left, I went back to Arizona State. I went back to Oklahoma State.
So from then on, you trained to the Olympics at Oklahoma State?
I traded it, yep. So I came back to Oklahoma State in 87. John Smith was a junior that year. And then he won a world title in 87. And came back and then started training. And then, like I said, in 87 was the first time I beat Dave Schultz. So World Team Trials, he beat me the first match. I beat him the second match. He beat me the third match. He makes the world team, gets second in the world. And the guy he lost to in the finals was Varayev, the Russian Varayev that I actually beat in the finals in '88. And so made the team in '88. And then once I made the team, we went to training camp. And then so what they did in '88 is we had 10 guys on the team, right? And so they assigned each guy in each weight class. They put a coach on, right, to help him in the training camp. And Bobby was my coach. So Bobby was assigned to me in '88. And so all through training camp, he was kind of the guy that was kind of taking me to my individuals, watching my practices and getting me ready for the game. And so Bobby was my coach. He was in my corner in '88 gold medal match. Bobby was in my corner in '89 when I won a world title in '89. Bobby was in my corner again. '92, Bobby was in my corner. We got a silver medal. And so the 3 Olympic games, Bobby was in my corner in every game. Yeah.
Crazy. Bobby was the man. I don't think we.
So that's the full circle that we came back to, right? So we come back from the time that my brother was with him. I went to Oklahoma State, come back around, came to there for a couple of years of training, came back to Oklahoma State, and then now he's coaching me in the Olympic Games. So that was pretty cool. And then Bobby was really the one that brought it to my attention. And I kind of knew it just from watching wrestling. I mean, Lee Kemp would have been the first Olympic champion other than Bobby, because he made the Olympic team in '80.
Yeah.
He was winning. He was winning. He was the top of the game. He world champion '81, world champion '82. So he was beating everybody in the world. He was the best in the world, but didn't get a chance to go to the Olympics as they boycotted in '88. So he probably would have been the first. And I watched those guys. I was a big fan of Lee Kemp, big fan of Chris Campbell and those guys that were coming through. But Bobby, we were at dinner one night. Bobby's like, "Now if you win a gold medal this year, you're going to be you will become the first Black Olympic champion in the history of the sport." And so it hit me like a ton of bricks. I don't think I finished my meal that night. And so yeah, we talked about it, and we talked about the significance of it and what it would mean just to having that platform to inspire people all over the world. And so yeah, that was something that Bobby brought to my attention.
Yeah, you've been the first, and like it's been taking off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's been about the same weight class too, I think, for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, I think of course after that, then Kevin Jackson won a world. He won Olympic gold in 1992, so he was the second, and then Burroughs. Then Burroughs come through.
Oh man, been crazy, coach, crazy. It's awesome deal, but I think people don't realize the coaching tree, the effect that Bobby Douglas had. I mean, people in it know, but like some people just don't understand like what we lost.
They don't. I mean, I was talking to Kel today. I was talking to Kel Sanderson today, and I said, man, I watch your teams, and I see the way you guys train. I see the way you guys wrestle. I said a lot of Douglas. I said a lot of Bobby Douglas, and I said like he said yeah, and he took off his hat, and he had Bobby's name or a picture of Bobby Douglas on his hat.
Really?
Yeah. I think he gives it up to him, right? Because I see it. Right. When I watch Bobby, and when I watch Kale wrestle, I mean the motion that he uses, the footwork, the shots. I mean, it's Bobby's all over it. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny too. I think like me as a high school coach, and somehow I met Bobby. Like I met him before, but in 2011, I met him at Olympic Training Center, and like I was attached at the hip from then on out. And those talks for years and years, like all of a sudden I just became a real good coach.
Yeah.
I became a real good coach.
That's right. It's like I can see it. I think it's tactics, and I watch your kids too, Russell, right? And it's tactics, it's level change, it's getting up through them, it's the way they're using their hands, their feet and their hands working in concert, and a lot of that is just straight Bobby Douglas, man, just level changing and getting through guys, right?
Yeah, he said something I could never figure it out. It took me a while to understand. He's like, you want your shots fast, you got to get your hands fast.
Yeah,
I could never figure it out until like about 6-7 years ago. I finally put it together.
Right. Exactly, and that's something that I mean, it's and my brother, man. So he came back. He was really good at creating angles with his hands and level changing. And that really kind of made me understand, right, just kind of how to reposition people and open them up and take their defenses away from them and move their body and their first line of defense away from their legs, and so you can attack legs. And so yeah, it's really cool watching the transition.
All right, because we're running out of time, so I get you in with a money round real quick. Even though you've done one before, but now you haven't done one since you've been in B-more. All right. So hold on, what's food better, Baltimore or Stillwater? Who has the best food?
Come on, man. It's B-more, man. B-more
crab cakes.
Amazing. It's amazing. And I love seafood. And I love steak. I love steak. I'm a steak and potatoes man. And but yeah, man, B-more is amazing, dude. I love it.
All right. Pizza or hamburger?
Hamburger.
Chicken or steak? Obviously
steak.
Bojangles or Popeyes?
Popeyes.
Okay. Pop or soda?
It was being from Oklahoma. It's always been pop, but now in my old age, I think it's more soda. Growing up in Oklahoma, it's always been pop. I might still say pop.
Double or single?
Double.
Defense or offense?
Two legs better than one.
All right,
What's
defense
that?
or offense?
Man, I'm a defensive guy. I'm a defensive guy. I hate being scored on, right? You know, 1992, I got 1 point scored on me in 1992, even though that was the point that beat me. I shut out. I had 8 matches in '88. I think I shut out 6 of them. I hate getting scored on, man. And then me as a football player, I was defense, right? So
Yeah.
I'm a defensive guy, and so yeah, defense is my go-to, man.
All right, sprawl or head blocks?
Sprawl of what?
Or head blocks, like down blocks.
Sprawl, man. Sprawl. I'm too pretty to get hit in the face.
All right, I'm gonna go quick. Loyalty or respect?
Loyalty or respect? Loyalty.
Loyalty. All right. If you could, even though you wrestled a lot of people, if you could wrestle, he might have got 2 minutes left. You could wrestle anyone, dead, present, or alive, any weight class. Who would it be?
Just one of them?
You can name 2, I guess, if you want.
I name 2. Lee Kemp is the one I wanted, and I was still mad at the guy that beat me because I would had a chance to wrestle Lee Kemp in 1984 Olympic trials, but I lost to Mike Deanna in the quarters, and then he had Lee Kemp the next round, and Lee beat him, and then Lee lost to Schultz in the finals, of course. But Lee Kemp is the guy I wanted to wrestle, and of course JB is the guy I'm still looking for.
Yeah. All right, Coach. So if you got anything to tell us about Morgan State, how they can get at you to recruit you, anything on social media, like they want to hit you, give us some good news about the Bears.
Yeah, man, we're up and coming, man. We're still moving. Got some great things happening at Morgan State. The guys that came in as this is going in our 4th season, and the guys that came in as a freshman will be seniors this year. So I'm graduating probably 15 kids next year.
Wow, that's
yeah,
good.
man. So I'm
That's
excited
good.
about that. These great kids. I had
That's the
18
most
kids
important
on
thing.
the honor roll last year.
Yeah.
So we're moving, man. We're got a good recruiting class. Got some good kids coming in, and we'll be better than this year than we were last year. And the biggest thing, Cornell, is in 2028 we are hosting the EIWA Conference Wrestling Tournament, the oldest wrestling conference in the country.
Wow.
At Morgan State University. So I'm pumped about that, man. So I'm really excited to get that going. And we got an RTC. We're getting ready to start an RTC program this year. And
you need me up there, Coach. You need me up there. You need me up there. I develop talent. That's what I do.
Have a conversation. Have a conversation. Job is open.
Yeah, awesome, Coach Matt. Appreciate you
taking. You coach freestyle, right?
Yeah, Coach. I got a few world champs underneath my belt. You know, we might cut out. You know, I'm the world team coach for Great Britain right now.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've been there.
What? How you do that?
One of the girls I coach is from over there.
Okay.
And, I was at U20 Europeans just 3 weeks ago.
Gotcha. Now I know you got skills, bro.
Yeah.
Electricast.